She withdrew the domestic violence case she made against him on Friday, and on Saturday he killed her and dumped her body in a toilet pit. And then he called the police, complaining he could not find his wife, that she had gone missing. My people, after thorough research, I brought to you in detail what happened between the South African man and his wife and how she was found dead. This man you are seeing on the screen is a 38 years old South African comedian whose name is Livuwani Madaze. He is popularly called SABC Livu, and the woman beside him was his 33 years old wife, Lindelani Nenguvela. Please guys, I took permission from my South African fans to pronounce these names the way I see fit. So if they aren't sounding right, please correct them in your head. Thanks. So guys, this couple made most people on social media, especially their fans, believe that they had this wonderful and happy married life. The things they post on their Facebook pages will make you believe that they are so happy and that everything is alright in their home. But now, looking at their posts on social media platforms and the tragic reality on the ground, one can't help saying, truly, all that glitters is not gold. It was after SABC Livu's arrest that the truth, the ugly, painful and sad reality of their marriage began to seep into the social media. This lady had been in a violent relationship with this man for a very long time, and she had kept quiet about it. He had always beaten her up over the slightest of provocation, and she had always defended and covered for him in public. Now, recently, the beating became too unbearable for her that she had to take a bold step by reporting him to the police station and opening a case of domestic violence against him. He was arrested and was later out on bail, but was to appear again in the magistrate court the next week. Guys, here I guess when they got home, SABC Livu pleaded with his wife, begged and remorsefully apologized to her, and even emotionally blackmailed her into calling off the whole court case and letting bygone be bygone. He must have reminded her of their children and how this will affect them, on how she alone will cope with the children, peradventure he is sent to jail, and even how this her decision will destroy his social media image, knowing fully well this is his main source of income. He must have promised never to lay his hand on her again, and that he had always loved her, but will love her more now if she forgives him and forgets so they could start afresh. Guys, I guess he must have sounded so sincere and convincing. I guess within those few days he must have behaved so caring and loving and patient with her that made her wake up on Friday, 27th of January, and went straight to the police station and withdrew the case. This poor woman, Lindelani, withdrew the domestic violence case against her husband on Friday, and on Saturday, policemen were in her compound bringing out her dead body from the toilet pit by the side of their building. Eyewitnesses said SABC Livu killed his wife the previous night when they were quarreling, and then he threw her body into the pit in order to cover his wicked acts. After which he called the police the next morning, complaining his wife had gone missing and that he couldn't find her whereabouts, and that when the police arrived at the scene, they discovered her dead body in the pit. Now guys, hearing from the police spokesperson, he said that the dead woman's husband called the police that Saturday morning, stating that he could not locate his wife, but was surprised to find her dead in the toilet pit in their yard. My people, a preliminary probe conducted by the police at the scene led to the arrest of this lady's husband on a charge of murder. It was said that those policemen who brought out her body from the pit discovered bruises on her neck and on her body, and knowing she had been in a violent relationship with her husband for a long time now, and also remembering she just withdrew a domestic violence case against her husband just yesterday, the police immediately arrested him as the prime suspect. When the news about this woman's sudden and tragic death broke on the internet, tales of different episodes of domestic violence and abuse that she had sustained, endured and covered for her husband begin to come out. out. One of such tales is an audio record of her husband in the act of either quarreling with her or beating her up. Guys, you heard their voices. I can't tell when this was recorded, but I guess it was gotten from her phone after she died. Permit me to briefly interpret some of the things that were said in this audio record. Here, he was telling her to leave, that he doesn't want to marry her anymore, that he is done. If she doesn't leave, he will call people to come and carry their daughter. Then she said she is not leaving, that he had already beaten her up last night and cut her with a bottle and she was still bleeding, and that he had pushed the wardrobe to fall on top of her and kill her. Then she asked him if he really wanted her to leave, why didn't he tell her yesterday? Why did he have sex with her last night? Then he replied her that he had sex with her last night because she wanted it. She then said no, she never wanted it. That why would she want it when she was bleeding? Now guys, I don't know whether the bleeding she was talking about was the bleeding from the injury on her head, from his beating last night, or her period. Then she threatened to call the police on him, and he wasn't even bothered about it. He said she should go ahead and call the police, that she will still be the one that will go and close the case. And then he was going on and on, abusing her verbally, insulting her family, telling how poor they were and how empty she was in the head, and so on and so forth. I guess she recorded this as an evidence when she found out things were becoming too much for her to bear. And I also guess he came back later apologizing and looking very, very remorseful, and she forgave him and still stayed put in the marriage. Guys, this is so pathetic. And I know, even as we are talking about this, so many women are passing through the same pain, tears, and heartbreak every day in their married life. Do you know that when he said he would call her people, she begged him not to call them, that they have enough problem of their own. She wouldn't like to compound her family's problem by adding hers to theirs. From what friends and relatives we are saying, even when her siblings were interviewed, it was discovered that this lady had been with this man from when he had nothing. She stayed with him, stood by him, supported him through thick and thin, till he became very popular on social media. She bore his children. On one of the posts she made on Facebook, she was showing off the lovely toddler as her last born child with her husband, SABC Levu. They said he hadn't even married her legally. He hadn't even married her traditionally or paid her bride price. But she had loved him so much, so deeply and so passionately, that she was willing to sacrifice everything just to be with him. But my people, is there a reason strong enough to make you willing to stay in an abusive marriage? Willing to stay put in a life-threatening relationship? But every woman who is in an abusive relationship, who is in a marriage where the man you call your husband raises his hands on you at interval and you refuse to leave because of what people will say, because of your family of birth, because of your children. See, my dear sister, let me tell you one simple truth. If you don't leave now that you are alive, you might end up living when you are dead. These are the only two options you have. You either live alive for the sake of your children and your loved ones, or you stay put and let your husband experiment how far he can go with your body, how far your body can take before it gives out. And that day, you may not just land in the hospital, but in the mortuary. And then what happens? If your husband is able to cover his track well or bribe the police enough, he might go scot-free. Then few months after your burial, he will get a second wife and his focus will shift from your children to that of his new wife and her offsprings. But if he could not cover his track well and he find himself crying like this South African comedian SABC Levu, who was seen in the court yesterday, weeping his eyes out and begging the court to grant him bail so that he can go and properly bury his wife, the woman he allegedly murdered in the time of extreme anger and lack of self-control. Guys, you see these tears this man is shedding in the court is not fake. They are not crocodile tears. He is regretting everything he had done. He wished he could turn back the hands of time and walk out to calm himself instead of raising his hands on his woman. To him, it all started with a slap one day, a kick another day, a punch another time, and a blow that was not too obvious. And his wife was strong. She had always taken it. She never tell anyone, and they've always ended up reconciling after each episode. He never knew that day he would hit a dangerous spot, or that years of accumulated, suppressed physical and emotional abuse and pain could wear her out so much that a little punch or blow could make her slump to her death. Now, he might end up spending the rest of his life in prison, and their beloved children would become orphans who will live according to the mood and financial strength of their relatives who are willing and compassionate enough to accommodate them. My people, please let's stop here for now. Our time is fast spent. Please, what do you think about this tragic incident? Let me hear your opinions in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not yet one of us, please hit the subscribe button, press the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. Thanks for watching, guys, and do have a lovely day. Bye bye.